was clicking and what you should be doing. But my point is don't worry if I go through things kind of fast. You will get a recorded version. We will take some questions at the end. You can certainly type them into the GoToMeeting toolbar. And with that being said, I do like to keep these things pretty quick. Today we're going to hit on really the key things you're going to need to do to be successful. And, make no mistake, I could sit here for 15 hours and talk to you about LinkedIn. I'm a believer in kind of baby steps. And I think after you sit through today, you'll have at least the foundation necessary to understand what it's going to take. And then you can decide if you want to move forward with that. So I think my overview on the webinar is there's really 4 keys to becoming successful with your LinkedIn profile. And I would say most professionals out there, and when I'm talking about professionals, I'm talking about insurance professionals, accountants, bookkeepers, most do not get past step 1. The reality is that social media, and specifically LinkedIn, can become very time-consuming if you don't know what you're doing. And usually that's a pathway to giving up because you burn out on it. But I think what I'm going to try to clarify today is that LinkedIn and social media in general is an extremely important puzzle piece to the big picture, which is your entire web presence. That means your website, your marketing plan. All of these things need to be well thought out today if you're going to be successful. And, it's funny, the one thing that I always cringe at when people call me up, they say, yes, I have a website, yes, I have a social media presence, but they don't do anything for me. In my opinion, that's the dinosaur mentality. Those people are going to become extinct. The people that are successful with their website, the people that are successful with social media, they're using it. It's like a tool. It's like a hammer. And they're using it to hammer in the nails of success, if that makes sense. So my goal today is to teach you how to use LinkedIn. It's not going to magically do stuff for you. Make no mistake, the people that are good at this stuff, they're using it, and they have been using it for 10 years. So the keys to success, there's kind of 4 things we need to focus on today. Step 1, or part 1, is your profile needs to be set up correctly. It needs to be set up to actually generate results. Most of you guys have gone in with the thought process that it's a resume. We'll discuss that first. The second thing you need to focus on is obviously you need to connect with as many people as possible. LinkedIn is a huge database, and it lets you actually market to this database. But one of the things I find people struggle with is they don't have connections. So without the connections, you can't utilize the messaging tools, which is part 4. So we're going to talk about connecting with as many people as possible, clients, prospects, friends, even your competitors. There's money to be made with connecting with these people. So that's kind of part 2. Part 3 is making sure that once you connect with these people, that you actually organize your database, that you put them into correct folders so that you can use the 4th part, which is the biggest part, the messaging tools. So that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to do our best to go through it as efficiently as possible. You'll see my exclamation point is be efficient. That's the difference between the expert and the rookie. The expert can do things in 2 minutes. The rookie, it takes him 2 days. That is the difference. And hopefully today you'll kind of see what we're doing and understand it's a lot of things that take 1 second, and it's just doing those in some sort of strategic manner. So let me just introduce myself, guys. My name's Ken French. My story is pretty much from 1995 till 2008, I was involved mostly in the insurance industry. I had a company that was what you guys would call a general agent or a wholesaler. Long story short, I had 50 employees that pretty much serviced employee benefits, individual medical, life insurance, products like that, and my clients were insurance brokers. I had about 7,000 brokers that put business through my GA. To make another long story short, I sold that business in 2008 with healthcare reform kind of on the horizon. Got completely out of that side of the business, took about 5 of my employees, and we started a new company called Snoozy. All Snoozy does is it works specifically with insurance and accounting professionals. And basically, we're a website design company. People come to us because they need a new website, they need a redesign, they need a mobile website. We also have a service called social media posting, where we will actually post on insurance professionals and accountants and CPAs social media presences. They may not have the time to do it every day. And obviously we do consulting and coaching. So that's my story. What I want to kind of really focus though on today is the LinkedIn. And what we're going to start off with is we're going to talk about the actual setup of our profile. And, you know, I'm just kind of scrolling through my profile here. And I think the important thing to understand is that people are finding your profile. Whether you want to understand it, believe it, accept it, they're finding it. And the reason they're finding your profile is because LinkedIn is now the #3 ranked website in the United States. So what that means is that when you create a profile, it gets incredibly highly search engine optimized by Google. So my point is you should go on after today's webinar, go on to Google, type in your name. If you have a LinkedIn profile, I guarantee it comes up within the top few searches. And I guess where I'm going with that is a lot of people today now use it as almost a background check. Maybe you meet with them, you're their potential clients, you present real well. First thing they're probably going to do is they're probably going to go take a look and see if you have a LinkedIn profile, and they're going to take a look at your website. And most people today want that to check out, if that makes sense. So one of the things that I've done, and I always suggest all my clients do, is that when you're setting up your profile, set it up for a scenario. I've set my profile up for people that are probably like, who is this guy and what does he do? And hopefully my profile answers all those questions. And we'll go through each of the sections, but if you look at my profile, you can see that obviously I have my phone, and I'm in edit mode, guys, so you may see a few little pencils and stuff here because I'm logged in. But you'll see that obviously I have my contact information. I have all my websites. I actually have 3 little videos listed here where people can click and they can learn about my social media posting service and my website services. I have quite a few of my blogs that I've written that kind of educate people on, how to generate leads from Facebook and how to set up a LinkedIn strategy. All those things are set in there because when people come to this profile, I want them to look at it and go, this guy knows what he's talking about. And, I also have endorsements, literally have 500, and I have over 500 people endorsing me for social media marketing and website design. If a potential client comes to my profile, I know that this profile is going to help my cause. I'm hoping that the potential client comes to my LinkedIn profile. So that's not all of LinkedIn, but that's the basics. You want to set up your profile, not to get you a new job, which is kind of how most people's profiles seem to be set up, but you want to get your profile set up to convert traffic. You want to get these people to say, okay, I like what I see. Now I'm going to check out his videos. Now I'm going to go to his website, because in the end, that's the whole point. The whole point is that these things have a high traffic rate, and we want to do something with that traffic. So the first thing we want to focus on is on your profile, your summary section is basically the most important part of the profile, and you'll see it right here. And you'll see that my profile, my summary section is what, like 4 sentences? It's not that much. Obviously, I have a few videos here. What I always suggest to people first is okay, go to your summary section. What does it say? And for most insurance professionals, it seems like it says, "Hi, we're Bob's Insurance. We're a full-service insurance agency. We can help you with everything. Get a free quote. Call us today." I feel like that's what everyone says, like they got that at insurance school or something. Though that may be technically correct and there's nothing wrong with it, really what you want to do on your summary is you want to have 3 key things. You want to make sure that in your explanation you highly emphasize who you help, okay? So we'll use insurance for an example. I know there's a lot of CPAs on today's call, but just in this example, the average guy, like he says, we help everybody. I don't want to see that. What I want to see is I want to see, who do you specialize in? What are you unique with? And usually when I talk to people, whether it's an insurance professional, accountant, I'll say, who do you help? Well, we help everyone, individuals and businesses. And then I dig a little deeper, and then I start to kind of find out, and they'll say, well, we really like to work with doctors. We really like to work with dentists. We really like to insure restaurant owners. So I say, well, why don't you market that? Well, we don't want other people to think that we don't help them. To me, that's a bunch of nonsense. LinkedIn's job is to convert traffic. You're not going to convert traffic if you come across as nobody or broad. You need to be very specific. So step one in that message, in that summary section, is to say, hey, we specialize in working with St. Louis restaurant owners, helping them protect their bars with risk management solutions. So that's step one. Pinpoint who you help. Step two is tell them how you help them. What do you do? What services make you unique? Very important to mention that. And then the third thing is make sure that you put your email address and your phone number in there. Tell them how they can get in touch with you. One of the biggest misconceptions, especially on social media, is that people are going to figure out where your contact information is. Yes, I know that in your profile there is a place for your contact info, but you're assuming that the person using or looking at your profile has any clue how to use it. Assume that people have no clue how to use it, right? So that's always kind of step one, is make sure in the summary section you tell people who you help, how you can help them, and how they can request your help. Those are the 3 key points. Keep it simple. Keep it, easy to read. Now, if you want to have more depth, more details, good. That's not a bad thing. But that's the whole point of this bottom section. You'll see that I have a few videos I've put in here. You can do videos. You can put links to videos you've created. Or if you have a PowerPoint presentation or just a PDF, you can easily upload those in too. Next to the summary area is a little box with a plus. If you click that, you'll see that you can put a link to your YouTube video, right here by just typing that in. Or you can click the upload file, upload a PowerPoint, upload a PDF, and that can become the depth of who you are. Yeah, you may do a million other things. Great. Put that in that PDF. That's for the guy that's really going to take a look in depth at what you do. But I think what you're trying to do with the summary section is to actually do a streamlined overview of really who you specialize in helping. You're trying to get your target market's attention. And if you don't do that, you don't pinpoint what you specialize in, it could cost you traffic. That's my point. The next thing I want you to focus on, and again, guys, I'm trying to create an abbreviated presentation. I could sit here for 15 hours giving you tips on how to set up your profile. I'm going to assume that you guys understand that you should have your picture, that you should have your contact information in here. I'm trying to kind of highlight what I would consider the key points. So my first key point was the summary section. I think that's priority number 1 to review. I think the second key point to review is the skills and endorsement section. And I would say that literally 95% of the people's profiles that I review when I do private consulting, they tend to have 40 skills listed here, okay? Huge, huge mistake. So basically this skills and endorsements area, you can see there's an add a skill area. You can add up to 50 skills, okay? And what most people do, or what most people think, is they say, well, the more skills that I put, the smarter I look. That may, I guess, be correct to some extent, but it doesn't work from a strategic standpoint. What I want to see you guys do is I want to see you have 3 to 5 skills listed. And the reason I want to see you have 3 to 5 skills listed is because I want you to get people clicking. I want people endorsing you for your skills. So what I'm saying is putting the skills there themselves are valueless. What is valuable about this section is getting people to come in here and clicking, oh yeah, I endorse this guy for that skill. Because again, we're trying to convert traffic. And when people come to your profile, like when people come to my profile and they see, wow, 400 friggin' people, and I got to get out of this edit mode here, but 400 people have endorsed this guy for social media posting, to me, that's going to help me. And I think that's my point. And if people come to your profile and you specialize in, business consulting and 3 people have endorsed you, I don't think that looks good. So what you want to do is go down to the skills and endorsement area. Pick 3 to 5 skills that you think are a good overview of what you do and have those listed. And what you're going to see over the next few months is you're going to see endorsements coming in. So I guess here's my point. I don't mean to ramble on here and beat a dead horse, but I think my point is this. If you have 20 skills listed and somebody comes to your profile, they're not going to take the time to endorse you for all 20, okay? They're going to click on 3 or 4. That's all they have the time for. If you only have 3 or 4 or 5 skills listed, much higher chance that they endorse you for all of those while they're there. And that's what you're after. You're after hundreds of people endorsing you. 1, it makes the profile look more impressive. And 2, the more endorsements that you have, the more likely that your profile is going to show up on other people's searches. That's what you want. You're trying to drive traffic to your profile. And that's the #1 thing I always hear people complain about. They say, well, I have a website. Nobody goes to it. I have a LinkedIn profile. Nobody goes to it. Well, maybe you never took the time to set it up correctly to drive traffic to it. Make no mistake, guys, this is very competitive now. LinkedIn is in year 11. There are people that have been using it for 11 years. They're very good at it. If you're going to compete with them, you're going to have to educate yourself a little bit, and you're going to have to do these little things to be successful. So that's what I'm trying to harp on. So that's kind of aspect 1 of the process. If your profile is not set up correctly, it doesn't matter how many people come to it. It will not convert them. So that's the most important thing. Go through the profile. Make sure you have a picture. Make sure your contact information is there. Make sure your summary section says who you are, how you help people, and how they can get in touch with you. Make sure those skills and endorsements are streamed down to 3 or 4 little skills. You will be better off. So that's part 1. Part 2 is getting as many people to connect with you as possible. And, I think instinctively most of us think, well, if I have a lot of connections, it makes me look impressive. Well, that may be the case, but I don't look at it that way. The way I look at it is every person I connect with, it's almost kind of like I got their email address. And again, my background is marketing, guys. I've been doing marketing now for 20 years. My job has always been getting people to use people's services. And the way you do that is you market. And I guess my point is this. I think back to the early 2000s when email marketing was so big. And what did it take to be successful with email marketing? Well, you had to have a good message, and you had to have a lot of email addresses. Well, now in 2015, email marketing, it's not dead, but it's a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit saturated. So that's kind of where social media has somewhat replaced it. Social media is very much like email, but I call it mobile email because it's more alive. People are using it on their smartphones. It's a whole new hybrid of what email marketing used to be. But my point is it's the same concept. Before you need to get email addresses, well, now you've got to get connections. You got to get connections on LinkedIn. You got to get likes on Facebook. These are distribution. And once you start to understand, oh, every time I connect with somebody or every time someone follows me, that means I can now communicate with them efficiently, you start to kind of see the big picture. You start to see the value. So that is really the next step to get to the next level, which is, okay, I really need to grow my distribution. And the reality is it's a bit time consuming if you haven't done anything. So what everyone should do today is they should get familiar with how to add connections. And the easiest thing to do is to click on the connections button and click the add connections button. And you basically have pretty much 2 choices, from a simplicity standpoint. Option 1 is you can go in here and let's say you use Hotmail or Gmail or Outlook or Yahoo or AOL. You can click on those buttons and log in and actually upload in your email list and kind of do like a mass upload or a mass invite to all the people you have email addresses for. And, you'll probably get 40 to 50% of those people accepting and connecting with you. That's something I did like 10 years ago. It's good. It may be a little time consuming. But the other option is kind of something that I suggest, and this is something that I do every day. And basically, anytime somebody emails me, anytime someone calls me, anytime somebody signs up for one of my webinars, which you guys have done, I always take their email and I come into LinkedIn and I click on this Any Email button right here. And what I do is I click that, and then I click the invite by email address, and I type their email right in here. And I kind of send them a one-on-one invite. So my point is I've gotten to the point now where I have a system. Every time someone emails me and says, hey, I'm interested in your website design services, or I'm interested in your social media posting services, first thing I do is I come to LinkedIn, and I just copy and paste their email right in here. It then sends them an invite. So, yes, they're going to probably connect with me, and that's good, right? They become my connection. But what it also does is it's like a system. Now they're going to check out my LinkedIn profile if they haven't already found it. And again, I feel my LinkedIn profile is one of the best sales tools I have because it's 11 years of hard work and good results for my clients. People go in, they see all the endorsements, they see it all. So my point is though that may take me 2 or 3 seconds each day, 1, it's driving people, it's traffic, and 2, it's growing my distribution. So that's something you guys should get comfortable with. I mean, this is something I probably should spend an hour just going through exactly how to connect with people and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I just don't have the time in this presentation. But my point is this is something you should get comfortable with. And you should get comfortable constantly taking your client list and people that are communicating with you and connecting with them. Of course, you don't want to do that until your profile is set up correctly. So that becomes kind of aspect 2 of LinkedIn. The third aspect is really what separates kind of the experts from, the average users. And that is actually taking the people you've connected with and putting them into organized folders. So what I did is I clicked on connections, and this takes me to all my connections. And if I click on all contacts, you'll see that there's a little field called tag. Tag translates to folders. Okay, so if I click on that, you'll see that I have literally dozens and dozens of folders, and I kind of have them all kind of strategically labeled. But if I click on, a website 1, what it does is it brings up a folder of 50, about 50 connections. Yeah, exactly 50 connections. So my point is this. You connect with people, right? What you should then do next is you should go in and put them into some sort of organized folder. So what would an organized folder be? Well, maybe the folders would be current clients, potential clients, and the more detailed you can make it, the better. So maybe it's potential individual clients, potential business owner clients, current auto insurance clients, current homeowners insurance clients. The more detailed you can be, the better, because where you're going with this is once you have these people connected, then you can go in and you can select these people and you can hit the send message button. And now you can send out a mass message to this specific group. So one of the things that I've gotten really good at is, I'll have people that'll be interested in my website services, right? I got them in a folder, potential website clients. So anytime we come up with new technology or anything like that, I can just send them a quick message that says, hey, look, you were interested in the past about my services. We've come out with some new services. If you have any questions, you can always request a free consultation. Click here. So most of you guys are saying, well, yeah, I mean, that kind of sounds good, but can't I do that with email, right? And the reality is that LinkedIn's messaging services have much more of an impact than email. So here's where I'm going. Again, I'm an email guy. I'm a marketing guy. I have found in 2015 that if I send 1,000 emails out to people, right, to my list, usually about 350 of those emails get read, so like 35%. I found, and I've done tests on this, I found that if I send the same thing through LinkedIn's messaging tools, same 1,000 people, that 750 of them get read. So it's like a 40% increase. So you're probably saying, well, what does that mean? How does it work? Why is that happening? Well, what's happening is when you send out a LinkedIn message, it does go to the guys, it goes to the person's email account, but it looks different. It'll say, look, you've received a LinkedIn message from your connection, Ken French. I don't know why, But people, they're fascinated by LinkedIn. They're fascinated by social media. And let's face it, a lot of people are addicted to Facebook. But my point is this. People will pay attention to it. They'll say, oh, this is like a special message from one of my connections. I better read it. And that's just the reality. It's as simple as that. People, it's new, it's different. With email, people are overwhelmed. It's saturated. They're not reading as much emails as they used to. They'll delete it without reading it. But when you send that same thing out with LinkedIn, you get an impact. And again, I'm a marketing guy, guys. I do things that get impacts. I don't waste time. I don't fool around. And what I found is that's why right now LinkedIn is valuable. And that goes right back to what I said initially. It's why you want to have the distribution. It's why you want to have the connections. And most importantly, it's why you want to put these connections into distinct folders, because then you can write up messages that make sense for that guy. And that increases the chances that those people are going to read it, right? So again, if you're targeting Tulsa business owners, yeah, wouldn't it be nice to kind of set up an email that goes just to Tulsa business owners and says, hey, look, healthcare reform compliance issues affecting Tulsa business owners. You know, we're doing a free webinar to review what you need to do to be compliant. I guarantee you're going to get signups. If you send that to your individual clients, they're not going to care. So that's why doing these little things makes a big difference on impact. Now, one of the things I forgot to mention is that you want to have a system in place, and it's hard. There's no right or wrong. You know, everyone has their own type of system, but one, you want to have a system where, like I said, if you're contacting people, they're calling you, they're emailing you, you want to quickly get those email addresses into LinkedIn. You want to quickly invite them to connect with you. But the second thing you may want to do is once they've accepted your connection, you may want to send what I would call a pre-written message to them. And this is something that I've done and I've gotten a tremendous amount of results on. So again, you've connected with somebody. Maybe they've even invited you to connect. What you want to do once it's accepted is on your desktop, maybe like on Microsoft Word, just type up what I would call a pre-written message. So here's my pre-written message. It's very general. It just says, hey, look, I just wanted to thank you for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I specialize in working with business owners, helping them insure their businesses and personal property. Please let me know what you specialize in, and I'll try to refer people your way. I can be reached at kensuzy.com. So that was kind of an example of one of my clients, what we had them set up. But my point is that people are paying attention to this stuff, this LinkedIn stuff. You got a high probability that someone's going to take a look at your profile. Once they've connected with you, you're on their radar. It then makes sense to kind of have something like this. Again, what I suggested was, you know, maybe write it in Microsoft Word or something that you can save on your desktop. The reason we do that is you don't have to constantly rewrite it. Okay, it's about, remember the fourth thing I said today, be efficient. Have a plan to save time. If you sit there and are constantly writing these things, you're going to have spelling mistakes. It's going to take 10 minutes. It doesn't make sense to do that. Have this stuff saved on your computer. Boom, you connect it with somebody. Boom, you copy it, you paste it, you send it, you're done. 3 seconds. That's the master. That's what the master is doing. He's efficient. He's quick. He's strategic. Everything is done with a purpose. And I think that that's kind of my overview with today's presentation, is that, you know, and I'll go back to the first slide. All these things, the 4 components, none of them are easy. All of them take a little bit of time. All of them take kind of a system. But at the end of the day, the key is you're doing something. And again, I think that to me is the difference between the novice and the expert. The expert knows what he has to do. He's doing it. He sees things happening. The novice, nothing's happening. No one's coming to my profile. No one's connecting with me. No one's coming to my website. What I find is if you struggle with social media, you tend to struggle with your website. And you tend to struggle with marketing. They all kind of go hand in hand. They're all part of the same puzzle. And that's kind of why my company, we help people with websites. We help people with social media. We help them with marketing. All these things go hand in hand. And I think that if you want to be successful over the next 5 years, you have to start to have the attitude, what can I do or what can my staff do that kind of gets us moving? Because right now we're just standing here. We're like a billboard, and no one's looking at it, right? How do I drive people to these things? How do I do more things? And I think the main concepts are, one, making sure that you're presenting yourself, right? That was my main tip on option part one was on your profile, make sure it tells people what you specialize in. I don't care that you do 1,000 other things. For right now, just tell them what you specialize in. Get them in the door. Then once you talk to them, you're probably fine. So that becomes important. Obviously, the second aspect is making sure that you understand that this is kind of like a database. It's distribution. Distribution is king. How many people can you get to connect with you? Very, very important. Once you've connected with them, you're not done. You should send them a little welcome message. You should make sure that you put them into a subfolder so that you can actually then use them later on, touch them later with the messaging tools. And I think once you have those 4 aspects in place, you're going to be a lot better off. So I just want to kind of talk real quick, and then I'll answer some questions. Again, if you guys haven't done so already, please take a look at snoozy.com. Again, we work specifically with insurance professionals, accountants. Our 2 main services we have is we have a service called social media management. And basically it's for people, insurance professionals, accountants, who just don't have the time every day to post educational material on their Facebook page, their LinkedIn page, their Twitter page. So that's what we do. You kind of come to us. We will make sure you're set up with a Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter page for your business. And then 5 days a week, we will actually post educational whatever, whether it's insurance content, accounting content, and it becomes the drip aspect of social media. Very important, constantly keeping your brand in front of people. That's one service we have. The other service we have is custom website design or redesign. So if you have an older site, you don't have a mobile site, you know, when we set these things up, we don't charge anything up front, okay? Our services are meant to be pretty affordable. So if you're in that position, I think the next step is just go to our site, take a look at it, and then I would be happy to kind of do a free consultation, and we can figure out if we can help you. But again, we specialize in working with people in these industries. So what I'm going to do is email everybody a link to the YouTube presentation that we just did. I'll certainly send you some more information on our services. And if you're interested, please email me, give us a call. I would be happy to talk to you privately. I mean, we also do consulting and coaching. We can certainly set up a time, go through your whole profile, help you get it set up